So the news is reporting that Britney's 16-year legal battle over her 13-year conservatorship has come to an end. So what actually happened? Did Britney Spears really settle with her father? Is Britney going to have to pay millions of dollars in legal fees? How does Britney actually feel about this settlement? Well, y'all know I dove into the public record, including into the court documents, and I think I'll be able to help us piece together a little bit more of what's going on.
I've lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy. It's a lie. I've been in shock. I am traumatized.
The final chapter of the Free Britney movement is now closed.
I could put any of you guys in a conservatorship right now if I wanted to.
Britney Spears and her estranged father, Jamie Spears, reaching an agreement over attorney's fees.
I cried on the phone for an hour and he loved every minute of it.
Under the conservatorship, Jamie Spears had complete control of his daughter's life. He oversaw everything.
They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, the 24/7 security. They watched me change every day naked, morning, noon, and night. I had no privacy door for my room. I gave 8 gallons of blood a week. If I didn't work from 8 to 6 at night, which is 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, I wouldn't be able to see my kids or my boyfriend, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called sex trafficking.
I do want to get into a little bit more of like how I'm feeling, how I'm reacting toward more the middle or end of the video. But right now, let's just talk about the facts and what I was able to find in the court record. Like many of you, I was a little caught off guard late last week to hear the news that Britney had settled her conservatorship case. And I've spent this weekend kind of mulling it over. I have the documents now, and I do want to give a special thank you and a shout out to Robin, who did purchase and send me these documents. Thank you very much, Robin. So let's start here. This is the docket. Y'all are probably very familiar with this website from the lacourt.org website here. This does tell us everything that has been publicly filed in Britney's case, and it goes from the most recent all the way back to the earliest filings. As you can see here, there were a number of filings. 25th, there were 2 documents that were filed, and then on the 26th, there were 5 minute orders plus this other document called a stipulation and order. Now, as far as those 2 documents on April 25th, what they are is this one document that was filed by Lynn Spears, which does appear to be just kind of a tying up loose ends type of document. Here, let me just pull it up for y'all so you know what I mean. So it's just a 2-page document. And as you can see here, it says notice of withdrawal of April 19th, 2021 fee and cost filing. And look, it says following the October 27, 2023 substitution and withdrawal of my former attorneys, Gladstone Jones and Yasha Bronstein, this provides notice that the April 19th, 2021 objection submission is withdrawn. Okay, so I guess Lynn had to like officially sign this withdrawal thing. I think this is just kind of a tying up loose ends type of document. It does seem to me like maybe Lynn did know that this termination was happening, and her signature on this particular document was something that was needed in order for the whole thing to be actually done, complete, finished, no more outstanding issues. Now, the other document, which was filed on April 25th, is an 8-page stipulation and order. Now, this is the most substantive document, I believe, so let me pull that up for y'all. Okay, so as you can see here, there are 4 items to contend with. And before we actually get into the specifics of those items, just at a 30,000 foot kind of view of the whole thing, there really were 3 major kind of buckets of issues that were still outstanding in this case. A lot of people are like, wait a second, Britney Spears' conservatorship was terminated 2 years ago. Why on earth is she still in court over it? Great question. It's because that's what the trafficking ass judicial system decided how they wanted to set it up. A lot of people don't realize this, but probate courts where they hear conservatorship and guardianship hearings is the same courts they used to hear hearings. And so Britney Spears telling us openly, I'm a slave for you, actually legitimately being treated as a slave, someone who had no autonomy, no freedom, no access to their money, no ability to leave, no ability to decide what they were doing with their children, with their reproductive system, with their meal, with their diets, with their clothing, complete and total, literal, actual slave, was being heard in the slave courts. And so the short answer is that's because that's how it's set up. It's set up like this. That's why. But anyway, there were 3 big like kind of buckets of things that still needed to be decided by the court. The first bucket had to do with these accounting reports. Lou Taylor from TriStar Sports and Entertainment had put together these accounting reports, and basically she was responsible each year, once a year, for providing the court with an accounting literally an annual accounting of the conservatorship. How much money went out? How much money came in? How are they managing the money? What are they doing with the assets? Stuff like that. So 2 of those account reports were still up at issue. One that had to do with the 2019 fiscal year. It was filed in 2020. And then another one was filed in 2021. You may have heard those referred to as the 12th and 13th account current. So that was one bucket. That was one bucket of issues that had to be resolved. Now, Britney's attorney, Matthew Rosengart, was saying that those were improper. They were fraudulent. Lou Taylor was basically defrauding and scamming Britney Spears. And there was some stuff that was not correct in those filings. So that was that issue. The second bucket of issues had to do with Jamie and him kind of being allowed scot-free to just frolic off into the sunset. Now, there are certain types of fiduciary safeguards that people have to put into place whenever they become someone's conservator, especially someone of this high net worth like this. And there's like all these bonds that you have to put into place. Insurance comes into factor in and stuff like that. So before Jamie Spears could skip off into the sunset with his one leg willy-nilly, he had to be cleared. So that was the second big bucket of issues. And the third big bucket of issues had to do with these miscellaneous fees. So Jamie wanted fees for being the conservator. Jamie's lawyers, before the conservatorship was ended, wanted their money for being lawyers and, sucking out the life of Britney Spears' estate. And then, of course, Big Sloppy wanted fees. There's all these law firms that want fees. And so that's the other big bucket, is like all these fees. Is Britney going to have to pay it? Now, Britney and Matt Rosengart were saying these people illegally put me in a conservatorship in the very first damn place, so I never should have had to pay them one single penny. The fact that we're even arguing over money is preposterous. On Jamie's side and on the lawyer's side, they were like, well, we already did this work, so we deserve to get paid. And Jamie loves Britney, and this is for the best interest of Britney, which of course is absolute horseshit. Like, no one actually believes that. But of course, they need their money because that's the thing they care more about than anything on earth, including their dignity. So those are the 3 big buckets. So with that in mind, here is that first 8-page document, and it's called a stipulation and order. So stipulation means the parties are kind of negotiating or coming to an agreement on something outside of court, but it ends up being an order. Look, when I scroll down all the way, you do see that Dishonorable Anna Maria Luna has signed it. So this is an official order. So what are they dealing with here? Number 1, there's 4 issues on this particular stipulation and order. 1 is to terminate the proceedings relating to what? That 12th account. So this is that annual accounting report that Lou Taylor did come up with and submit to the court. They're terminating any and all proceedings on that. So Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill basically just never showed up to depositions, never showed up to participate in their part of the court, and now they're being let off essentially what appears to be scot-free. The second issue on the table of this stipulation and order is to, look at this word, conditionally terminate the proceedings relating to what? A March 26th, 2021 petition for an order allowing what? Compensation to Jamie, compensation to his lawyers, and then compensation to his lawyers in the form of reimbursement of costs. But basically, this whole second one is like Jamie getting paid and his lawyers getting paid, but specifically the fee petitions that they requested on March 26, 2021. And this is just some of the lawyers or whatever. The third issue in this stipulation and order was to conditionally terminate the proceedings relating to more fee petitions. See, look, payment of account of James' attorney's fees from the estate, whatever. And this is just a different set of fee petitions. So half of them are on one, half of them are on the other or whatever, right? We're talking about Gerald Cohen, Geraldine Weil. We're talking about Vivian Lee Thoreen, all these people, Big Sloppy, all these people that have been working for Jamie, the lawyers. So all those are within 2 and 3, and those were conditionally terminated. So I was really not sure what that meant when I was reading it. And then, of course, the fourth one goes back into that first bucket we talked about, which is the accounting. So the first one is terminate proceedings relating to the 12th account, and the other one is to terminate proceedings relating to the 13th account. And then these 2 about Jamie's lawyer fees are conditional. They're conditional. So they name all the parties, and then they say they all collectively stipulate and agree to terminate the pending proceedings between them in the above referenced matter. Lou Taylor gave Jamie Spears the account current, the 12th account, and then Jamie filed it. In November, Britney objected. This is This is 4 years ago, almost at this point. So Britney objected to those filings. This is when Sam Ingham was still her lawyer. Another look, they're just, I'm not going through all these. They just basically lay out all the different fees that are owed, right? Holland and Knight, that's Vivian Lee Thurene. Saul Ewing, that's Gerald Cohen. So they're just kind of going through all the different fee petitions that were filed and the fact that Britney did object to a lot of them. So here's the stipulation, the kind of settlement agreement of sorts. We will never probably see that settlement agreement, but this is what we are allowed to know as the public. The 12th account current, it says all of Britney's objections are denied as moot. Lou Taylor's 12th account current that she did prepare is approved. The hearing that was scheduled to begin on May 13th, so in just 2 weeks, as well as the final status conference, are all vacated. So that means they're removed from the court calendar. Now it moves on to the 13th and final account of the conservatorship, and it pretty much just says the same kind of stuff. The parties waive any 13th and final account by the former conservator. So Britney's waiving Jamie even having to do anything with it. The order to show cause is taken off calendar. Then there's all these fee petitions we've talked about. And I don't really know what this means. Maybe somebody in the comments can explain to me what exactly this even means, but it does say the following about the fee petitions. With regard to the Holland and Knight Saul Ewing fee petition, only those fees and costs that are the subject of the petition and that were previously paid on account are authorized and approved. So the judge is like, yeah, the ones that were already paid are authorized. I don't get it. I don't understand what this means, but I'm just reading it verbatim. I really don't know what it means. Okay. And then there was another hearing about Holland and Knight and Saul Ewing, the two law firms. They were supposed to be having to argue about why they deserve to be paid more of Britney's money in June. And so that's not going to happen anymore. Vacated. Any pending motions relating to the 12th and 13th accounts are also taken off calendar and denied as moot. And then here's that second bucket I told you all about, like letting Jamie frolic off into the sunset. This is the frolicking off into the sunset provision right here. Jamie is fully and finally discharged as former conservator of the estate. The bond set and filed is exonerated. It is hereby stipulated and agreed that Wilkie Farr petition is denied as moot, meaning that's big sloppy. So anything having to do with him getting paid through the court ordering Britney to pay, that's not going to happen. Now, Big Sloppy's fee petition is denied because it's moot. And then they withdrew the rest of them. Now, if you're just reading this, it might look like Britney didn't have to pay anything because it does say, Wilkie Farr, meaning Big Sloppy's law firm, they had a fee petition on the books and it's denied as moot. But other news reports are saying that Britney actually does have to pay to Wilkie Farr, to Saul Ewing, to Holland and Knight. And it ain't no little bit of chump change either. It's $2 million. Now, again, I didn't see this $2 million settlement number being quoted in this lawsuit. There's one more document that I do want to go over with y'all, like another stipulation like this. But look what the news is reporting. Britney Spears to pay $2 million in conservatorship settlement with Dad. They settled their years-long dispute, and Britney reportedly now has to fork over more than $2 million to law firms that Jamie hired throughout the battle. Attorneys for both of the parties did confirm on Friday that they settled the dispute for an undisclosed sum and the LA Superior Court earlier this week. But sources with direct knowledge later told TMZ that the sum amounted to more than $2 million, despite her lawyer's claims that Jamie previously paid himself $6 million from his daughter's estate. And it has been reported that Lou Taylor helped herself to $18 million from Britney's estate. So it's like $22 million at least that's just been reported that Britney has lost from no fault of her own. Jamie has denied any wrongdoing. The settlement, though not what Britney and her legal team had hoped for, now means that the father-daughter duo will not have to address the issue in trial, which would have begun next month. Okay, so moving right along to the next thing that was filed. So that first stipulation we just went over, that 8-pager, basically it finally terminated any proceedings having to do with anything Lou Taylor submitted to this court, including 12th account current and 13th account current. That was the annual accounting reports for what they did with Britney's money for the year 2019 and the year 2020. So yes, Lou Taylor completely off the hook in court. Yep, off the hook. Off the hook. Yep. So there is one other stipulation and order, which I do want to pull up now. And this is the one that was filed on April 26th. So one day later from the document we just looked at. So this is the second stipulation and order to terminate the proceedings. Now, number 1 and number 2 are exactly the same thing that we already saw on the previous stipulation. But remember those two that said conditionally? This is the one that kind of like finally terminates all of it. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm just speculating right now. I really don't know. I wasn't there. But what it appears that happened is that there was a conditional dismissal and it was conditioned upon something happening on the 25th, rolling over into the 26th. Whatever it was contingent upon or conditional based upon did happen. It seems to have been satisfied because the very next day we do get this final and permanent stipulation, this one right here. I'm not going to read through it. It's 4 pages long, but it's basically exactly, what we've seen earlier, but it's just kind of finally getting rid of this. So these are all those fee petitions for the lawyers, and it's really almost identical to what we've already read. So in addition to that, there were these other minute orders, which I guess since we're doing this, I mean, we might as well pull them up. So this one right here is a minute order, which is about the December 15th, 2021 fee petition. That one is denied as moot. The next minute order is the minute order having to do with the final status conference about the 12th account current. The 12th account, that's the one that represents the 2019 fiscal year that was filed in 2020. So it was supposed to be heard on April 29th, which is literally today. It is advanced and vacated. Any objections are denied as moot. Pending discovery motions are taken off calendar as moot. Reference to Judge Roy Paul, this is the mediator judge, is terminated. All existing trial dates are vacated. The 13th and final account and report by Jamie, which it was actually prepared by Lou Taylor, which it's very nice and cute and convenient that they just continuously leave her name out of this because she is the one that did, through her company, TriStar Sports and Entertainment, prepare all these reports, is waived. So he don't have to actually do anything with it. So all the lies they told in it, it don't matter. And this according to Matthew Rosengart. I don't know if they lied in it, but that's what they said. And his bond is exonerated. So, yep, Jamie's off the hook. Great, wonderful, awesome. What do the other minute orders say? Then there was some type of motion for summary judgment. I'm not even exactly sure what that is about. I could go back and read it if y'all really want me to, but I mean, it's moot at this point. See what I mean? Motion for summary judgment that was filed in January, filed by Jamie. So he had filed a motion for summary judgment. Advanced, taken off calendar at the request of Jamie. Then there was another minute order having to do with some type of motion to seal, which was filed in February, 2 months ago. See what I mean? Motion to seal filed February 5th, 2024 by Britney Spears. The matter is not called for hearing. The motion to seal hearing was supposed to be today. And the motion to seal is granted. So Britney had filed some type of motion to seal. Did I download that? Let me see. I guess I can go back and see what that motion to seal is about. It's not really explicitly related to what I'm talking about right now. I mean, it is, but it's not really the point of this video. So I guess I can go back and look into that later. But importantly, the judge did grant that motion to seal. So whatever it was that Britney wanted the motion to seal for, it was sealed. I don't know what that was about. I'm sure some of y'all do. So leave it in the live chat or the comments. Alex Weingarten and Geraldine Weil had made declarations, and Britney asked for them to be sealed. So the judge did seal them. On or before May 3rd, a moving party is to file a redacted copy of the entirety of these 4 documents. So we will get more documents filed. That's what they're telling us. But they will be redacted. They will not be complete. They will not be transparent and open. And that is because allegedly Britney herself did ask for the court to seal them. So I don't know. They were probably like telling all her damn business in there. And then the final minute order that was filed on Friday is the following. This one has to do with a status hearing, petition for an order allowing and approving conservator fees and conservators' attorney fees filed March. So this is the March 26, 2021 one, is withdrawn to the extent not approved pursuant to the stipulation and orders thereon filed in April. Okay. All existing final status conference and trial dates are vacated. Okay. So that's what the court documents say. And then, of course, as y'all probably saw, there were some statements made by the parties in the media, in the news, etc. I did want to discuss just a little bit of what those were. Here's one from CNN, which purports to have an exclusive statement from Matt Rosengart, who's Britney's attorney. So let's read that. Now, CNN has been conservatorship shills for a very long time. As y'all know, Chloe Mayloss, who's one of those Mockingbird types, she was a CNN reporter. I think she still is, and she was on the Britney beat. Now, this one they have Elizabeth Wagmeister doing. Britney Spears settles long-running legal dispute with estranged father, finally bringing ultimate end to the conservatorship. Okay, hold on, because like I said last time I made a video about Britney, I'm not going to be gaslit anymore. How many years have they been telling us the conservatorship is over? The conservatorship is over. It's over. It's over despite crazed fans, despite what the fans think. And now they're reporting in headlines, oh, it's finally over. So you mean 3 days ago it wasn't over? Like we've been saying? Okay, got it. Britney has reached a settlement with her one-legged estranged father more than 2 years after the court ordered termination of the conservatorship that had given him control of her life, their attorneys said. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed by the attorneys for the pop star and her father, who confirmed the settlement to CNN. I don't know how they got this 2 million number elsewhere if it's an undisclosed amount. Is it undisclosed or is it 2 million? Is it more than 2 million or is it undisclosed? So then we get a comment, a quote from Matt Rosengart. Quote, "It has been our honor and privilege to represent and protect and defend Britney Spears," the singer's attorney Matthew Rosengart said in a statement to CNN. Quote, "Miss Spears is and always will be an icon and a brilliant and brave artist of historic and epic proportion." He continued, "Although the conservatorship was terminated in November 2021, her wish for freedom is now truly complete." I'm not really liking this language after they've been basically gaslighting the shit out of us for 3 years, talking about it is over. She is free. Okay. That's not adding up with what you said in the news to CNN 3 days ago. His quote goes on, "As she desired, her freedom now includes that she will no longer need to attend or be involved with court in this matter." Alex Weingarten, aka Big Sloppy Disgusting Freak, attorney for Jamie's father, told CNN, quote, "Jamie is thrilled that this is all over. I bet he is. I bet he is. I'm not going to be thrilled until I see the man in handcuffs." Quote, "Jamie loves his daughter very much. He does. He loves the money that she was able to provide. He loves the control he had over her. He loves the fact that he was able to abuse someone so powerful as her. He does love that. I do think that. I do agree. He, quote, worked tirelessly to protect her, and he wants the best for Britney, nothing less." Okay, you're full of shit, ugly. The conservatorship was terminated in 2021, but the legal battles have persisted, with lawyers for the singer and her father going head-to-head in frequent court visits over attorney's fees and allegations of improper behavior in handling the conservatorship. Her father has consistently denied the accusations. In June 2021, Britney actually did speak and gave testimony, marking the first time she had spoken in open court throughout the 13 years. And she did refer to the conservatorship as, quote, abusive. In her testimony, she claimed that while she was under the conservatorship, she was forced by her management to go on tour against her will, was put on lithium, which made her feel drunk, and she was not allowed to get married or have a baby as she wished, and was forced to use an IUD for birth control. Slavery. Quote, "I just want my life back. It's been 13 years and it's enough." After that testimony, Britney was granted the ability to hire her own lawyer rather than work with that court-enforced lawyer who was not helping her in any friggin' way. In her memoir, she wrote about the soul-crushing years of the conservatorship, saying that it stripped her of her womanhood and made her into a child. She became more of an entity than a person on stage, and she always felt music in her bones and blood, and they stole that from her. Okay, then there's this page 6 article, which also has an exclusive statement from Matthew Rosengart. And he basically says pretty much exactly the same thing as he did before. This is page 6, it's a different article. And it kind of says the same thing as it did before, but there is a few more things here. So I want to cover those. This is Matthew Rosengart. This is Britney's attorney, the one supposed to be helping her, who let the statute of limitations for any and everything civil expire. Yeah, him, who Madonna allegedly had hooked Britney up with because he did work at the Kabbalah Center or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I've always had my reservations about the man. I was trying to keep an open mind, but now, I mean, based on his statements after the ending of the settlement and all that, I completely and totally have made up my mind that I don't trust the man. I don't like the man, and I don't think he ever really was working in Britney's best interest. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's just my thoughts, and I'm allowed to have thoughts and opinions. I really don't know, but that's my thoughts and opinions. Look at this quote. Quote, "Britney Spears won when the court suspended her father. And Britney Spears won when her fundamental rights and liberties were restored." No, she did not. The woman was a slave. She was enslaved, not just for a few minutes, baby. She was a slave for 13 years. This was approved by the court. This was rubber stamped by the entire state of California. There's literally White House emails from during the conservatorship that came out on Wiki that show that the highest levels of government in this country knew exactly what in the fuck was going on with Britney Spears. She did not win whenever the public decided to get involved because you people had no idea how to do any damn thing. You people sat idly by and allowed Britney Spears to be enslaved, trapped, abused. Y'all sat idly by and did jack fucking shit. She didn't win just because the Free Britney movement had to get involved and help her to reclaim some of her autonomy. That's not a win. Oh, she was a slave, but she won whenever they undid that. False. The man is on. I feel like Mark Laita should go and find Matt Rosengart and interview him for Soft White Underbelly, because that's the level of cognitive decline that he is in right now. Something is clearly interfering with whatever his frontal lobe is supposed to be doing, because Britney Spears did not win. She hasn't won for 1 second in the last 15, 16 years. She hasn't won for a single second. So don't try and sanitize the narrative with Page Six, the tabloid, which completely annihilated and ripped Britney Spears to shreds for decades. Imagine the irony. Oh, but he goes on. He goes on to say more bullshit. On the other side of her conservatorship, Britney has dropped 2 singles. Hold Me Closer, a 2022 duet with Elton John, and Mind Your Business, a bottom of the barrel song that nobody bothered to release for the past 11 years. She recorded it in 2013, and then they wanted to put it out and make money off of it. Rosengart also talks about the release of these songs in his statement. Quote, since obtaining her freedom in late 2021, Britney has achieved remarkable success on several fronts, adding that Hold Me Closer debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot Dance Electronics charts and became her 24th top 10 single. What the fuck? Imagine you've been enslaved with the help and active participation of your own freaking immediate family, and you still have to pay these leeches, vampires, clout-chasing grifters, and bloodsuckers millions of dollars after you've been enslaved, and your lawyer goes out making statements to tabloids which have participated actively in this trafficking and this enslavement the entire time, and he's like, yes, Slay Queen, did y'all see her single? It was #1 on the Billboard chart. He ain't talking about her slavery. He ain't talking about her abuse. He ain't talking about the fact that Jamie sold his daughter to the industry. He ain't talking about the conflicts of interest that Lou has. He ain't talking about the fact that Big Sloppy was allowed to perjure himself and lie in court and act a damn absolute fool. Nope. Look at this. Look at this remarkable success. Look at the money. And he doesn't stop the shill there. He doesn't even stop shilling products there. Then he goes on to talk about how successful financially her book has been. Her landmark book deal with Simon & Schuster for her memoir, The Woman in Me, an immediate NY Times #1 bestseller, which received universal, breathtaking praise and would not have been possible during the conservatorship, Matt Rosengart tells us. It's like, okay, Matthew, I mean, I guess the book, that's good. Like, I'm not upset that her book did good or whatever, but what about the sex trafficking allegations that Britney made? What about the fact the woman was a slave? What about the fact you yourself were paid more than $4 million for your law firm before you decided to take the case pro bono after collecting the $4 million only because the fan base was pressuring you to stop sucking the money out of Britney's estate like the rest of the grifters? You got your $4 million and bounced. I guess none of that matters as long as she's putting out these singles and putting out these books and making money for these people. And I can't help but wonder whether Matthew Rosengart gets a little bit of a percentage of this stuff. Because think about it. I mean, he was the lawyer for Britney whenever the book came out, whenever the singles came out. So is Matthew Rosengart now a part of the whole scheme? I'm wondering. Maybe he could come out and make a statement. But is Matthew Rosengart getting a percentage of Britney's book sales based on the fact that he helped her negotiate the deal? I'm wondering. Because he's not doing nothing, in my opinion, here, but advertising for product sales, books, singles, and sanitizing the really gross and perverse history of what actually happened. There's been no justice. But in my opinion, it's just another old coot making money off of Britney, draining her estate and energy dry, and not really giving a shit about what she actually had to go through other than what she could bring financially into the bank account. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew, because I sure did email you several pieces of evidence several times to try and help Britney Spears, and you never bothered to email me back. So now we've read the court records. We've read the statements from the lawyers, which is Big Sloppy and Matt Rosengart and Weingart. So we got a Rose Garden and a Wine Garden, girl. I mean, I don't know. These guys played pretend like they didn't like each other very much, but I guarantee you they're both part of the Beverly Hills Bar Association. That's all I'll say about that. But what does Britney think about this? Well, if you go to her Instagram right now, at the time of recording this video, it is disabled/deleted yet again. I'll put that up here. But she did make some statements yesterday and the day before, which do seem to indicate what she truly feels about this settlement. And I don't think she's very happy about it. Because before the Instagram account went down, she was posting stuff, which does seem to indicate that she isn't so happy about this settlement and she don't think that there was justice. So there are like 3 or 4 different posts that came out between the time that all this news came out and whenever the Instagram account was taken down. So here's one such post. It says, "I was actually right about the nerve damage in my back. I have to get acupuncture every day of my life now. Words and thinking too hard make it worse." So she has nerve damage. If people only knew how I've had to crawl to my own door one time. My family hurt me. There has been no justice, and there probably never will be. The people who sat and did absolutely nothing when they did that for 4 months are smooth sailing. The way I was brought up, I was always taught the formative of right and wrong, but the very 2 people who brought me up with that method hurt me. I'm so lucky to be here. It's funny because till this very day, I haven't told them face to face. I text through Instagram, but I honestly believe it will not be safe if I ever did go face to face. So the child in me knows they would be destroyed, and that's basically it. I do miss my home in Louisiana, and I wish I could visit, but they took everything. Then she posted something else to Instagram, picture of a mountain with some horses, and it is very beautiful. It says, "So pretty. I can breathe now. Real inhalers. Just got them again. Huge difference. I used to have an asthma machine when I was in elementary school, but the innocent mom and dad took it away from me for 6 years. But y'all, I'm so effing grateful now. I love you, mom and dad." Then she posted the cover of Jeanette McCurdy's book called "I'm Glad My Mom Died." And she said, "Stay nice, folks. Good book." I did want to close this particular video out with just my closing thoughts, and then I wanted to include some closing thoughts and reactions of some of the figures in the Free Britney movement and just some of my personal friends who I know have been a part of the movement for at least 4 or 5 years, some of them 7, 8 years. I'll start with my own feelings. My own feelings are that there hasn't been no justice. No justice has been served. And I personally have like a little bit of a bittersweet feeling on the whole thing, but mostly it's bitter because Britney's case is the first or second one that really taught me how unjust the legal system could be. And I know a lot of y'all have said this to me for years that y'all been new and all that. Well, that's fine. That's great. But there was a time before you knew as well. When I became aware of Britney's conservatorship, it was still ongoing and she was in the conservatorship and I was studying for the bar exam. I had just finished law school like 2 months prior or something. I think I want to include my first 3 TikToks, which is the first 3 videos I ever made about this topic. I'll include them at the end just for fun. But over the past almost 4 years that I have been involved in the Free Britney movement and in the case and in the activism surrounding justice for Britney and stuff like that, I do feel like I've grown so much as a person because of what I've learned in the Britney case and also just because I've grown in general. And I almost like barely recognized the person who I was whenever I first learned about Britney's conservatorship. I mean, I have put countless hours, dollars, traveling miles, hotel stays. I've gone horse talking about this thing online. I've read court documents for hours and hours and hours. And the whole reason that I did that was because it was wrong what happened to Britney Spears. And I didn't see at the time anybody filling that space that I'd ended up coming in and filling. And everybody had their part to play. Everybody had important roles to play. But the reason that I got involved in the very first place is because it was wrong what happened to Britney Spears. It was wrong what was happening to her when I found out about the conservatorship. And it's wrong what's happened to her now. She was harassed and bullied into settling with these snakes. She's out 20, 30, 50, 100, who knows how many millions of dollars. Take the money away from it. Some of her most vibrant and important years of life, in particular as a mother, were stolen from her, and she was forced to spend those years as a dancing doll for other people. She was jumping out of billionaires' cakes in the conservatorship. She was very likely being trafficked. She said herself that she compared her situation as sex trafficking. And it does appear to me that there's really not going to be justice. I mean, I am holding out hope. I'll just be honest with y'all. I'm holding out hope that somehow the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, somebody somewhere, through looking into this P. Diddy case, has stumbled upon what exactly in the hell is going on with Lou Taylor and Robin Greenhill and TriStar Sports and Entertainment. I personally left left the whole entire legal profession because of what these people tried to do to me. Lou Taylor hired. She's a f***ing sociopath. She hired the law firm I was working for. She went and hired them to represent her. And within moments of hiring them, she was on the phone with the highest ups at the company, the highest up lawyers at the law firm saying, "Oh, can you tell that associate to stop making videos about me?" I worked for 30 years at that point to become a lawyer. It was the magnum opus of the pinnacle of my accomplishments in life. Now, willingly, happily, voluntarily, yes, I did give it up, and I'm happy I did it. But that's the level of depravity we're dealing with. That's the level of how these people think we're dealing with. And at this point, because Lou Taylor did that, I also feel like I have a personal attachment to the case too now. Lou Taylor pulled me all into it. Like I said, I am still holding out hope. I'm holding out hope that somehow the people who did this to Britney Spears are going to have to pay, not just money, prison time, public accountability, blacklisted from the industry, losing all their clients, losing everything they love, because that's the only thing that's going to give justice, in my opinion, because that is what happened to Britney Jean Spears. Now, I do have a couple of statements from some other folks that I do want to read, and then there's a couple of video statements that'll be at the end as well. I'm just going to read them in the order that they came in. So this one is from my friend Alex, and she was at a lot of hearings with me. I actually ended up calling her my snack mom at the hearings because, oh man, I can't believe, I don't know why I'm emotional. I was emotional all day yesterday over this because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And the fact that Matthew Rosengart is coming out shilling products and saying Britney Spears won. No, she fucking didn't, idiot. We're not stupid. She didn't fucking win. Please, give me a fucking break. You won. You won. You get to put this notch in your belt or whatever. But Britney didn't win. That's false. It's not true. She didn't win. Y'all didn't win. You're a loser. You lost. You didn't do a good job. You did a bad job, actually. And now I'm just wondering why. Was this guy always sent in to kind of just be, controlled opposite? I don't know. I do think it's very, very suspicious that he has all these connections to the Kabbalah Center through Madonna and all that. I mean, I think Madonna was just as big a part of this as anything else. That's my thought. What do I know? I wasn't there. So Alex says, oh, I ended up calling her my snack mom. So Alex, I ended up calling her my snack mom because I would be completely exhausting myself at these Britney hearings, and she would have little granola bars and little snacks and stuff and be like, "Did you eat? Here's some water." And I would be almost passing out on some of these because it was all day thing. And it's everybody was coming up to me. I was having a talk. I didn't have breaks. It was very exhausting to go to those hearings. But I was happy to do it. Don't get me wrong. But we ended up developing a pretty close friendship. And also I love her husband. I adore them. They are wonderful. They are wonderful and awesome. We have spent many hours together at these hearings. And this is what she had to say. "I am beyond angry and upset for Britney, but I am not surprised, sadly. Unfortunately, I saw this coming. I feel like there are so many horrible people protecting these criminals. Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, Larry Rudolph, Black Box Security, and TriStar Team, and of course the entire Spears family should all be in jail." Britney's words. "The justice system and the probate courts are ridiculous. Britney wanted justice. Britney wanted them all in jail. No justice has been served. I am heartbroken for her. Justice for Britney Spears. Justice for Britney." Then my friend Jennifer also made a statement, which I will read. Jennifer says, "Hey, I'm still processing it. I feel really sad and frustrated for Britney and the lack of justice within the probate court. I'm relieved that hopefully this means she can be done. I hope that the feds will step in and RICO act these criminals, but maybe that's too hopeful. We'll see. Either way, I'm thankful for my time in this movement, and I'm still fighting for justice for Britney. I'm going to continue to speak up on the injustices that she's faced, as well as so many others by the hands of money, power-hungry monsters masked as humans." And then I replied to her, I was like, "I'm stunned, to be honest. I will include this statement in the reactions portion of the video." Jennifer says, "Sure thing. I mean, I'm stunned too. I was not expecting a settlement, but I'm sure this whole thing has been exhausting for Britney. And I can see a case where she just wants to be free of it and of them. She deserves justice, but maybe she's foregoing justice to be done with those soul-sucking leeches. I don't know. I think this should be a call to the movement to make noise and make sure these players within the conservatorship don't just get to fade away. They all deserve to be charged for crimes." And then Monica did also submit a statement, so I will read Monica's statement. "So many factors regarding Britney's case have concerned me. The fact that Lou Taylor has seemingly been able to quash her discovery, as we've heard no word as to her cooperating and forwarding her files. The fact that we get confused from day to day about which side her attorney Rosengart is really on. And that we're left to believe that he'll actually start the process of pursuing litigation for the laws broken during her conservatorship. For example, the secret recordings from her bedroom, just to name one. Somehow, both Lou Taylor and Jamie Spears have been able to elude responsibility. Now that this settlement has been reached, I have little hope that anyone is going to be held accountable for the crimes they have committed. I know people want Britney to find peace, but personally, I feel like she won't find peace until they pay for their crimes, which she said she wanted in that courtroom that day. Melanie Veronica said the following: Britney's Instagram changes things for me. It's clear she's saying Team Con got away with it. I get now that Matt was saying the only form of justice that we got was her freedom. Matt succeeded with Free Britney, but Britney didn't get her justice. We can't let them walk away so easy. We need to organize. We need to stop arguing and work together to demand accountability. Our courts are corrupt. She goes on to say, my heart is broken. We spent so many hours fighting Team Con just for the probate courts to cover their own ass. Of course. Quote, we will never get justice makes me think there's no secret strategy with law enforcement, at least that she feels good about. Do you think we can get any kind of justice if we work together? And finally, she says, my feelings are definitely roller coastering, and I'm feeling many different ways at once. Going through phases of grief and processing. I still haven't completed all the reading either, so please keep that in mind. I'm going to take my time with processing as I can. Then Christina, my friend and one of the best mods on YouTube, she did also provide a written statement, and she said the following. I don't agree with the settlement because it doesn't give the vindication to Britney that her father committed fiduciary fraud. It seems he's being rewarded for his bad behavior. But I see the healing process begin for Britney by settling this dispute with her father. I don't believe it brings justice to Britney. I believe it brings her peace in not being dragged to court. I still believe she deserves justice for all the years they took away from Britney. I certainly will be continuing to follow this story. Again, I don't know why I'm so emotional. Like, I don't know. I want to even just like delete this out. It's a very weird feeling because on the one hand, it kind of does give a little bit of resolution, and closure. But on the other hand, it doesn't, because it doesn't feel like justice. And justice is such a watery term. What does it mean? What is justice? But I think maybe accountability for the people who did this to Britney is a good place to start. And not just the people who managed her, but Reva Goetz, Brenda Penny, Sam Ingham, Andrew Wallet. What about those people? Jamie Lynn Spears, who was going to be the trustee of Britney Spears' trust. None of these people are going to be held accountable for anything. It just doesn't feel like that's right. It doesn't feel right. It feels like somebody's got to be held accountable for this. Edan Yemeni, the one who worked with Robin Greenhill, allegedly, apparently, according to that whistleblower, to illegally surveil Britney with cameras in her own private home and including in her bedroom. Drugging her against her will because she wouldn't do a dance move. Britney has said before that she thought some of these people were trying to kill her. She's now said that there probably never will be justice. And you know what? If I'm Britney Spears, I would think that too. I have a lot more videos on this topic coming. So for me, I'm not done with Britney Spears coverage, but it definitely does feel like closure in a way. Like, not what I expected, not what I thought, not what I fought for, not what I sacrificed years of my life fighting for. I fought for accountability. That being said, I do agree with what some of the other folks have said in their statements, which is like, no, it's not justice. It's not justice. And these people need to be in jail, in my opinion. Innocent until proven guilty. But I could understand why Britney would want to be done with this whole court thing. I mean, I'm in a very, very protracted and expensive legal battle myself with some bad actors who lie in court, commit perjury in court, and they use these dirty, low-down tactics in court to try and bully and harass me to steal away my freedoms. And these people have already been ordered to pay my lawyers tens of thousands of dollars. Their cases have been dismissed, but they keep coming back for more. They keep coming back for more because they're trying to abuse, harass, and pester me with these legal filings. And now, I mean, it's probably close to just definitely over $250,000. It's creeping up on $500,000. So just that amount of money. I mean, I'm no Britney, no Britney Spears. I don't have Britney Spears money, but I can understand taking that, what I've been through, this, court case, which has ended up being like 4 or 5 of them that they keep trying to file, the same group of losers. And I can understand you take that and you multiply it by about, 10, 15. Everybody's eyes are on you. You're free from the conservatorship, but you're still having to go back to court every month or two because of this bull. Money is just draining and draining and draining because these cold-blooded clown demons know how to operate the legal system, know how to abuse the legal system and people with it, know how to abuse people with the legal system by abusing the legal system itself, and they're completely shameless. They have absolutely no morals and no conscience. Some of these people that were around the whole entire time were literally hand-selecting certain judges just for the sole purpose of being able to Britney against her will. So this is the type of depravity we're working with here. This is the level of fucked up that these people are. So absolutely cannot blame Britney for not wanting to be entangled with these cold-blooded clown demons for another second longer. I can absolutely understand that they just twisted her arm so hard, traumatized her for so many years with exactly this legal system and exactly this courthouse with exactly these lawyers. Absolutely can understand why she might have been pressured, bullied, and harassed into settling. I'm holding out hope. I have about 3% chance of hope that any of these people are going to get actually served any justice at all. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. And it doesn't feel complete. And the rest of the people's statements and the videos and stuff, I'll insert right here at the end here. Yeah, I'm going to go because I just keep almost like crying. And I don't know like what the purpose of that would even be. Like just sitting here crying. That's stupid. So I'll talk to y'all later. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation and neither are opinions. And y'all take care of yourselves. Love you, Mina K. Bye.
My initial thoughts when finding out that the conservatorship has been settled and will not go to trial, at first I was relieved. I thought this could be a good thing. After seeing Britney's post saying she doesn't feel like justice was served, I'm disappointed and I'm frustrated for her. I want to do whatever Britney wants us to do to support her. I don't want to drag things out if she wants some form of closure. And at the same time, I would like to see a federal investigation. I would like to see criminal charges. I would like to see Lulu Tay losing all of her clients. I would like TMZ to shut it. Britney deserves justice. And I plan on using whatever platform I have to try and amplify the message that Britney was exploited, Britney was entrapped into this conservatorship, and criminal activity absolutely took place. And we found that in the discovery of this probate trial that finished up. This isn't over. It has literally just begun.
To say I understand what Britney Spears is going through right now, or her feelings on this whole matter, and to say I get it, I don't. I really, really don't. And my heart truly goes out to her 100%. Like, it's got to feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders. But at the same time, when the is Britney Spears going to get justice? Truthfully. I mean, yes, she's free. Yes, she's out of the conservatorship. Yes, she has her freedom and autonomy back, supposedly. But to say that she said everything that she needed to in that book is a lie. If you are a Britney Spears fan in any capacity, you know that that was a lie. There's more to be said. For 14 years of being put through this conservatorship, to have your kids turned against you, to have your fans ridicule you, to have the paparazzi pull the bullshit that they pull day in and day out, to have nobody to turn to but you think your family, and your family is the one rightfully screwing you. Your family, your management, anybody, they're signing your name to shit. They're overworking you. They're drugging you. Allegedly, I mean, $600 million just gone. To say that Britney Spears, who has been on the top of the Forbes list multiple times throughout her career, was only worth $660 million. I mean, you take the $600 million that's missing, right? And you take the 60 that she has, you put them together, that's $660 million. To say that Britney Spears is only worth $660 million, find that hard to believe when her perfume has been like the #1 best-selling perfume since 2004 and has sold over 1.5 billion bottles as of like 2012. I mean, it's 2024. That's 12 more years. So from 2004 to 2012, she sold 1.5 billion of one perfume, and she's got 38. But she was worth only 660 million, right? All the different ventures that she's gone into, all the endorsements, all the money that she's made from concerts and merchandise and touring and movies, music, dolls. Like, I can't even come to fathom the amount of money that has more than likely been stolen from this woman, and still no justice. I mean, I don't believe it. I don't see it. I'm pissed. And I really, really hope that karma is a bitch. I hope every single one of these people who have done her wrong can't sleep at night due to the guilt that eats them alive. I pray that as much as she has to go through and as much as she has already endured, and every single day that she misses without her kids, that her kids aren't around her, I hope and pray that the people involved that were part of this, I hope that they pay. I really, really do. Because it's bullshit. I'm aggravated, y'all. I don't even know what else to say. I'm pissed. I'm happy for Britney's sake that she doesn't have to go through this trial, and I'm relieved that she herself, doesn't have to be put through seeing this monster of a fuck people that have done this bullshit to her. But truthfully, no justice is done. None whatsoever. Yeah, Britney's out of the conservatorship. She's free. Where's the money, though? Where's her kids? Where's the time that she gets back from the 14 and a half years? None of that can be replaced. They ruined this girl for so long. And yet people got to skip out on depositions. That shit don't fucking make sense. Where the fuck is the justice? Stanley Mosque and their fucking bullshit ass judges. Bullshit. Bullshit. It's infuriating to know that Britney Spears has not gotten justice. It's infuriating as a fan. I can only imagine how this woman feels. I can only imagine. And people are saying 600 million was stolen from her. I think it was way more than that. There ain't no way. Truthfully, her mom should have to move the out of the house. And Britney should be able to sell the house if she wants to in Louisiana, or be able to move the in. All her family that has been earning all this money off of her and doing all this shit for years, they should be a fucking shame of themselves. Lou Taylor, Robin Greenhill, everybody at TriStar, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. I hope the guilt eats you the fuck up. I hope you can't sleep. And I hope at some point justice does happen for Britney, because It ain't fair. You better come out with a part 2 on that book, because for real, I'm ready to know about all the truth, because I know that you ain't done saying what you need to say. I know you're not done. No.